everybody, we are live from Old Town Sacramento. Hopefully the Wi-Fi works and that we are as good as ever. Unfortunately, the data is a little less to be desired, but we shall overcome and we shall get done. We do have some live music from over there, not sure where it's coming from, but we do see people fishing. And over here, if you hear little squeaking sounds, I have to be a little quiet just to not disturb wildlife. But we do zoom on in. Look at, if it zoom in, and come on, zoom in. Look at this, we actually got ourselves some live seals. Hello, Tyler. Thank you everybody for your extended patience. And with that being said, we are actually starting our, oops, one moment. Not sure what's going on with the Zoom. We're actually starting the party on a riverboat. And we do got ourselves a very special drink, which is why you're not on a gimbal quite yet. This way, here it is. So this way, this is what we got to drink so far. We got ourselves a non-alcoholic espresso martini. Let's flip the camera around and you shall enjoy seeing me drink a martini as we get started. After you're done, and we got our friend Keith here. After we're through drinking our martini, which is right here, our mocktail martini, we are going to get walking. So we got ourselves some. Excuse me. We got ourselves some Canadian geese. Cheers, everybody. Cheers to a wonderful day in Sacramento. We do got some orange peels and a whole lot of fluff. We got ourselves a tonic martini, tonic espresso with a hint of orange. It is so good, Lyle. I love it. Let me show you the tip top. One moment, everybody. Whoop. This is the tip top of the martini. And this is what we put on martini. This is our complimentary gimbal holder. So that's why I brought the little hotel with me. It is definitely amazing. Hello Gizmo, hello Lyle, hello Tyler. I'm glad we can get started. Thank you so much everybody for your patience. And got our friend Keith here. Hey Keith.
Hey everyone.
So what do you get to drink?
Just having Coca-Cola.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Best stuff on the planet. It definitely is, Jalen. What is everybody having to drink today? Would you like to be on camera?
Sure, for a little bit.
Alright, so we got Keith here. And I'm curious, what are you looking forward to the most about Sacramento?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing my sisters this evening for a dinner over at the Trap Cat restaurant right here in Old Sac, just on the other side of the old railroad museum. That
sounds so amazing, Lyle. That you got yourself some peppermint welcome. And hello, James, so good to see you. Woo! Awesome. If you don't mind sharing, how are your sisters holding up?
They're doing all right, but I'll probably learn more when we see them tonight.
Same here.
And I'm going to see some people I haven't seen in 32 long years.
That's been such a
Lana
long...
and Tracy, who I haven't even met since I was just a baby.
That's been a really long time, and I'm so glad that you finally made it.
Yes, 16 long years since I've been here in Sacramento.
Definitely, and I know I'm kind of jumping around, but that sounds so delicious. That Tyler, that you're having a Mountain Dew. Yeah, I'm curious, what brings you here, brings you back after 16 years?
Well, to see family, that's the most important thing. Obviously, I have my mom's ashes with me to deliver to my sister Beth. And then after a couple of days here, we'll be heading down to Los Angeles for Disneyland.
I'm also very sorry to hear about your loss.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very sorry.
I appreciate it.
And also, I'm just really glad that you're able to see your family again. I'm just very glad.
There goes our seal friends again.
We got our sea lions. Gizmo says that 16 years is a very, very long time.
Yes, it is. And I remember the first time I saw this area, I was only 6 years old. It was a kindergarten trip back with William Brooks Elementary School. The first time I saw Old Sacramento.
Yeah.
And this ship that we're on, the Delta King, has been here the whole time.
That's so wild. Has the Delta King been here since the 4th grade?
Yes, it has. It's been here for almost 100 years.
Whoa. Yeah, do you know when it... I'm just trying to figure out, when did it get converted into a bar and restaurant?
And hotel, I believe it got converted to a hotel back in the 1990s. So, but before that, it used to be used as a mailboat and just a river cruise between San Francisco and the Sacramento region. So, and now it's been converted into a hotel, kind of like the Queen Mary down in Long Beach.
That is so neat. I find it really fascinating how boats can get converted into hotels. And I remember that there used to be an airplane called the Spruce Goose that was parked in Miami before it got transported into the Evergreen Museum in Portland, Oregon. And I'm not sure why, but that came into my mind. There was a building that was next to the Spruce Goose in Miami. That was some sort of result. Hello, CJ. So good to see you. Jalen says, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jalen.
And Gizmo says, may you rest in peace.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in downtown Sacramento. The state capitol is only about 3 blocks to our right. And of course, all the way to the left, we have West Sacramento. We're obviously on the American River, which is one of the largest rivers in the state of California.
And for like the American River, doesn't it go to the Sierra or to Chicago?
It starts in the Sierra and it finds its way down to San Francisco Bay. That's probably how our little seal friends got here. They basically swam all the way up here. Probably get away from the great white sharks.
Yep. I just find it wild that a seal can swim 1,000 miles.
They definitely can, and someone is definitely very cranky today.
Yep. And sometimes I believe, and of all things, I have not seen a baby seal yet, but we've seen a bunch of baby cows on the way out.
Oh yes. Seen a bunch of baby cattle and baby sheep on our train trip out here from Chicago.
All right, if you don't mind, I'm going to flip the camera around so that you can all enjoy the Great River. This way you can see the good times where we finish up our drinks.
Yep. Before we go walk around Old Sac here for a little bit.
The only downside about this area is that the internet is a little less to be desired. So definitely knock on wood as we overcome the severe lag monsters. AT&T is definitely not very prominent around here, but we shall overcome and see what we can do. That was something that kind of took us by surprise, since the Wi-Fi was so strong just about everywhere else in the world but here. Alright, I'm going to finish my drink where we look at sea lions.
Yeah, maybe they'll have a little talk too.
Yep. Hopefully we can give some sea lions some H2O. Thank you so much, Lion. That's right. If you enjoy what you see, especially the shenanigans, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. We gotta use our library voice since we're near some people. But here's the sea lions. I'm glad to hear, Gizmo, that you're doing okay. I'm curious how's everybody holding up today, and we do wish to thank the hotel/boat for all complimentary drinks. Our drinks are all complimentary, and right behind us is the old railroad. Oh, except. All right, everybody, we are back. Not sure what happened, but the Wi-Fi went kaput, and yep. Dang Wi-Fi, no Gizmo. Yep, this Wi-Fi be hit or miss. Yep, that's right. We are going to be having a good time, just like that music over there. And I kind of wonder what fish you can catch from this river. Hello, Matthew. Good to see you. Let's go back to the seals, but we gotta be very quiet. Yep, looks like all the seals have fallen asleep, and we do see ourselves a beaver's nest over there. Yep, we're going to go to data afterwards. Right now, the data, we only got one signal on data, but we got 3 bars of Wi-Fi, so we're going to flip over to data once we leave the premise. That's something I did not expect out in this area. I thought since we were in like a major city, we would have really strong 5G data. But that's one thing that surprised me. It's just how limited AT&T is out here for now. Maybe a tower's down, but hopefully it does get fixed up. So for anybody else who comes by, can get a really good experience. That was delicious.
Be honest.
And this is my favorite part. My favorite part is eating the orange peel. For a second, I thought I saw an otter swimming. And that's right, Jan. Tony is in Sacramento, and I remember you saying that Sacramento is the capital city of California. That was such an amazing drink. Really needed that after a long train ride here. Alright, so let's go explore. That was so good. And I've been waiting all this time. So we also got a battery in case the gimbal goes kaput too. But we're going as strong as we can. Alright, ready when you are? That's right, that's Dan's gonna move. And Matthew is asking how is the train ride. The train ride was really amazing. We got to see in the view of the dome column, surrounded by glass except for the ceiling due to rockfall and avalanches. And we also found ourselves inside. Hello Robin, good to see you. And we also ended up spending our time in the meal column. We actually thought that the train would arrive here at 11 a.m. But due to like the Eastern time difference, we came at 2:41 p.m., which is better late than never. Alright, good to see you. Alright, same here. I do the same thing too. Hey.
I can hold on to tower for a minute.
Alright, we got ourselves a towel, and I got my cup too. Hello Robin, let's dance. Woo, that is right. Robin will be bringing everybody some dancing shoes so we can dance our way through town. This is what the front of the hotel looks like, more like the front of the boat. But don't forget, if you see the top of the boat and you see the top of the boat and the floor of the boat do a flip-flop, start swimming. Alright, I'm going and drop my colors off. Alright, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alright, have a wonderful day. Alright, let's go. That's right, Robin. Let's go. Woo!
This is our room, by the way, 439.
Alright, the lucky room. Alright, let me switch off the data. It's gonna be a little choppy, but we should overcome no matter what. On data right now, so if it's a little grainy, thank you so much for your patience. Whoop. Good day, the face plant. Not even the ouchie. Onwards and upwards, here we go. Alright, a little unstable right now, so if the audio just cut in and out, I do apologize for that. Alright, let me sneak by. Alright, whoop. Let's sneak past. There's definitely a lot of overgrowth. Alright, let's check something real quick. Much data, but we are on low latency. Alright, we are back again. Hopefully we got some better data over here. You never know of Old Town. Sometimes you get a bunch of data, other days, kabam, there goes the data. Tough luck for you, Tony. We are actually running on AT&T, which is part of our problem, the uphill battle of the dataless zone. There's no data out here. Alright, and we are back. Looks like if we get closer to the other side of the river, that's when things get a little bit better for everybody. I didn't realize that just how little the AT&T data there was out in the middle of nowhere. That what really bugs me out. That what really bugs me out is the fact that we're in a massive city, but yet there's no AT&T, but there's plenty of T-Mobile. That sounds so good. We got ourselves an art gallery, a river city gallery at Sacramento, California. An old school shooting range. I've never been to an old school shooting range before, but this is what it looks like. This is definitely the Wild West. And thank you.
Interstate 5 right there.
Interstate 5? Heck yes, there it is. Data bars, but hopefully some data does come through. Thank you so much, Gizmo, and I do apologize if it's nothing but a grainy blob on the screen. That is what Old Town Sacramento apparently wants to show itself as an old school grainy blob of stuff on the screen. And that's so neat, Lyle, that they used to have a shooting range in the old school Magic Kingdom in Frontierland. I've never seen it before, but I do know that Disney discontinued the arcade in 2014 out of fear of Florida's new arcade bans.
Yep, all the local teams in California.
This is all the local California teams. We got the A's and the Raiders and the Sharks. And that really sucks, Robin.
Saloon, we got a saloon here.
I wonder what's at the saloon.
Oh, right now it's closed. It's like an old-fashioned West bar and restaurant.
That is so neat. I never knew that they had an old school. I never knew that they had a saloon out here.
Oh yeah.
And wasn't this around during the Prohibition era?
It was.
And also I get a feeling because it was around during the Prohibition era, they had a bunch of secret speakeasies. Just like
the old Supreme Court no longer obviously used.
Yep, the abandoned Supreme Court.
Converted into a store.
Yep. Looks like it. And also Gizmo says, is there any good pizza out here?
Round Table Pizza is one of them, but there is a lot of good pizza places out here. Round Table Pizza is obviously a huge chain here in California.
Yeah. Do you eat at pizza? Yeah. Do you actually eat at round table pizza?
Oh yeah, I made it Round Table before many times in my childhood here on.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
The pizza's nice and thick.
Yum. Like deep dish pizza in Chicago.
Very similar to that. You can also get the thin version too.
And yep, this is actually very common in California. Wine tastings, especially when it comes to red wine and white wine. This is very, very common in California, especially since we're so close to Napa Valley, which we were at in February of 2026. And when we went to Napa Valley, there was nothing but vineyards. The good news is, since we're staying along the bridge, the data is slightly better.
Yeah, because downtown Sacramento's over there.
Perfect. Not sure what the sculpture is, but it looks like a donkey.
Well, the information's right here. Pony Express.
Oh yeah, the Pony Express. And do you know that if you say the word Dakota, the host will come to a stop? I actually learned that from watching Night at the Museum too. I don't think so. He looks like he's sleeping. Yeah, he definitely looks like he's sleeping or just stretching out.
He's just sleeping. I see him.
Yep, I see him too.
Just relaxing.
Yeah, I seen people lay down before and relax in Denver. I sometimes relax underneath a tree after a long day, or even busing home later at night.
There's a horse right behind you.
This is the old school horse and buggies that we do see in Western towns. And that's right, Robin. When it comes to Disneyland, one day at a time, put one foot in front of the other. Mike, put one wheel in front of the other and slowly crawl to Disneyland.
There's another saloon, so you know you're in the wild, wild west.
Yep, we are.
Here in Sacramento.
The last stop saloon. And if you're in Reno, Nevada, there'll be casinos everywhere.
Yes. There are a couple of casinos in Sacramento, but they're on the other side of downtown. But not as many as Reno. Hold on, baby.
I'm switching sides so I won't be on the sidewalk. And Robin says that this reminds her of Old Town Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, it does have a reminiscence of that.
I've never been to Savannah before.
Yeah, I've been through Savannah on the train, but not actually have explored Savannah.
Neither have I. And also another thing I enjoy doing is getting myself some homemade ice cream with lemonade.
That actually sounds really good.
It does.
Small, too.
Maybe we could do that for lunch or snack tomorrow.
Maybe.
And this is the freeway and parking structure for the rail station. Up in front of us is the California Railroad Museum.
Some of the oldest steam engine trains used in California are found right here.
Sweet. And it's definitely
back in the 1800s.
whoa. It's definitely a beautiful sky out today. And when it comes to railroad engines, have you ever been in any engines from the 1800s?
I have not been on any engines from the 1800s. But I have seen engines from the 1800s.
I've not been on an 1800s engine or a historical recreation. Closest thing was seeing a recreation of a canyon back in Pittsburgh in 2025 during the National Praxia Conference. That That was the only time I was able to see the only time they're able to see. Well, that was like the only time I actually got to see a historical recreation of a canyon. It's definitely a canyon that not here. All right, see you around Robin, and see you around Robin. Is Richard gonna be playing Fortnite or doing artwork? I'm curious. All right, straight away to Neverland. All right, that would be amazing if we could go straight around and go out to downtown. This way.
We've got time, so it's on 4 o'clock.
Yep, this way we can see everything, and we're not.
Show them the state capitol.
Yep, let's see the state capitol. I'm curious. See how it says you're not on a train.
Yep.
We got off the train at around 3 p.m. It pulled into the station 30 minutes early. That we could go live a little bit earlier. Then kabam! Hotel reservation took forever.
Yeah. We could say whatever happened on the Delta King stays on the Delta King.
Yep. It's like Vegas.
Yep.
Alrighty, I will see you around Lyle. I hope Richard is doing well. Thank you so much for being here. And I just love showcasing some old town stuff. I forgot that California is 3 hours behind Florida.
We are.
That's the magic of time travel. Alrighty. Wi-Fi is going out. Do you mind if we go to Old Town Sacramento? Alright, unfortunately Wi-Fi keeps going out in Old Town, so we're going to switch on over to the New Town to see if we can get a stronger data signal.
Pinball machines in there. Yeah. Oh, it's called the pinball parlor.
Pinball parlor.
Now we have the Elmira Indian tribe.
I wonder what they saw the Elmira Indian tribe area.
It is a store, but it doesn't have a lot of representations of some of the tribes in the early years. I definitely want to check this out.
Same here.
But my mom was big and stuff in the years. So I'm going to go this way.
Alright, let's go this way.
This horse and buggy.
Horse and buggy. Now we get a nice close-up of the... So now we get a nice close-up of the horse and buggy. I've never been on a horse and buggy coach before. Yep, I've never been on a horse and buggy coach. This is actually my first time seeing one in person or just close up. Alright, thank you. Now it looks like we got ourselves a spring festival too.
Yeah, you know, in the Wild West, you see buildings like this.
Yep.
100 years big.
I wonder what the oldest building is in this area.
That's a good question. It's probably a lot older than downtown Sacramento is. Probably talking 100, maybe 150 years old.
Alright, we do have a bottle for $1. And it's definitely a very beautiful house. Looks like a stallion to me. And it smells like it just rained or somebody just washed the woodwork.
Yeah, they're doing the work to keep it clean. So
Yep.
it's spraying.
It actually smells really good right now, like musty pine.
Yeah, because it's very old wood. They don't make this wood anymore. The trees, they can't cut anymore.
I wonder what kind of wood this is.
Good question. You know, hot dog, ice cream parlor, so no ice cream parlor.
And same here, Gilmore. I do love seeing all the historical buildings. This is one of my favorite parts about exploring is just seeing what Old Town does look like. We're going. The Wi-Fi we might cut out for a few minutes as we go into the twilight zone. But once we get back out, kabam! We're back better than ever. Goodbye. Alright, hello downtown. Here we come. Going once, going twice. Here we go into the data zone. There's definitely a police presence in the city.
We're going underneath Interstate 5.
Interstate 5, here we come. We might cut out.
Here's the timeline of Sacramento years. Let's get a little closer.
Alright, this is what Sacramento history of Sacramento as presented by the city. Oh look, I forgot about the right bottles today, contemporary cement and side out and street art too. I really did enjoy the train. Thank you so much for asking, Jalen. It was like a really relaxing and really welcoming experience. It was my first time seeing the Midwest in all of its glory. And as you get closer to the city, the music changed from old school, like the old school piano music, to the modern music. And here we go, classical. Too funny. What an irony. Downtown, where the Wi-Fi lives. This is where we get stronger Wi-Fi.
Yep, as we get toward, obviously, deeper into the heart of town.
And welcome to downtown. That's how we teleport from one time period to another. Alright, we're getting buffering. I'm going to refresh. Alright, and we are back going into downtown. Fortunately, we got our data to just rebuffle in the nick of time. Holiday Inn. Hello, Seattle. It's so good to see you. Thank you for the Buffalo update.
Coming up to the old shopping mall. Still here.
I wonder what kind of goods they sell.
Good question. And then, of course, Golden One Arena, home of the Sacramento Kings, is on the other side of it.
The Sacramento Stadium.
Yeah, and it's the most expensive one in the NBA to date.
What makes this the most expensive one?
Because it's the newest one that was built, and it's only been around for 3 years.
That's so wild. I thought it was the A station in Las Vegas.
Nope. For the NBA, nope, it belongs here.
Sweet.
But it is nice at this part. Okay, Century Theaters is still there too. Cool.
Sweet. I'm glad that Century Theater is still around. We're going underneath some cement, so please be patient if we do cut in and out. We got ourselves a Yard House, which is a nationwide chain. It was definitely one heck of an adventure, Jalen. One of my favorite adventures so far.
Also got stores downstairs, including Haagen-Dazs, Chipotle.
Isn't Haagen-Dazs an ice cream place where you roll the ice cream out on cold stones?
Yes, it is. We got lids. We obviously have Panda Express upstairs.
Delicious.
Obviously, we've got Century Theaters. That is a common movie theater complex here on the West Coast.
And we got Museums of Illusions.
It's actually so nice that this plaza is still here.
Same. I'm glad it's not been torn down or changed.
I heard it wasn't torn down, but they did not do that. And of course, I can see the entrance to Golden One Center right ahead of us.
I wonder what that Golden One Center.
That is the home of the Sacramento Kings NBA basketball team.
Whoa, that's
Obviously,
massive.
they are not in the playoffs, so they will not be playing until October. But when you see the design of the building, you can see why it is the most expensive building for the NBA today. And it cost them over $1 billion to build it.
That's so wild.
And there she is, Golden One Center.
What a legend there. What a legend right there. I can see why they did not want to get rid of the plaza.
So they basically got better by adding the NBA arena. And all the big concerts will take place here too.
I didn't realize that they had a hybrid concert and basketball venue.
Right in downtown Sacramento. This is the way it should be. Man, if I was here a month ago, I'd probably attend a basketball game.
Sweet. And also I realized that the Nugget Stadium in Colorado is also used as a dance arena, a graduation arena, a prom arena, and a robotics team arena where all the robotics teams meet up. It definitely is, Jaden, one of the biggest stadiums I've ever seen. Oh hey Lyle, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? And also when it comes to It's Jiggle, one of my times I got to go, there was actually a time when I was in Chicago and I saw Kim Kardashian and her family walking to Ichigo. I was literally just sitting there. And then kabam, there comes Kim Kardashian walking in on church. I do have one photo of Kim Kardashian, but at the time, I was not really into social media, so it didn't really matter if I got a photo or not. There's also an Ichigo in Colorado and an Ichigo in Las Vegas. Same with an Ichigo in Hard Rock, Tampa, Florida.
There's Haagen-Dazs directly ahead.
I just find it really funny when it's the same store or same franchise a block apart from each other. That I find really funny is seeing multiple McDonald's 5 feet away from each other. Same with the hot dog stands in Times Square, New York. Jamba juice, anybody? Woo!
Yeah, there's a hotel attached to the Golden Line Center right over here. And then we'll head straight, and that'll take us to the state capitol.
Of awesomeness.
And that is where the governor's office is located, along with the state house, state senate.
Oh yeah, and the closest that we've ever came to state royalty was when we were in either Bermuda or Puerto Rico, and the governor brushed by us.
Yes. Whether Governor Newsom is actually in office, is actually at the office, or is traveling, I don't know.
We shall find out.
We'll find out.
It depends on the volume of Secret Service that we see.
That's true.
We got ourselves a T-Mobile,
Yep.
which is very strong and dominant here in Sacramento, California.
Yeah, I got good data here, thank God.
AT&T,
Yeah.
yeah, to be honest.
Hopefully you'll have better.
Yeah. Hopefully, the closer we get to the Capitol, the better the data gets. Which is why I'm telling everybody, just in case just in case you all wish to come downtown, and so that you can know what to expect.
There's the tracks for the light rail station, as you can see right there.
And the light rail looks like it goes down to the other side of town.
Yeah. Two tracks here. There's one right here. The other one is actually a little further up here.
All right, and now we can buggy.
One of these goes down to South Sacramento. The other one actually takes you up towards Citrus Heights and Carmichael, which is the northeastern parts of Sacramento. And that's an area I know very well, because that's where I used to spend a lot of time with my sister Lisa when I was a kid.
All right, see how I know it's really random, but see how it says AT&T does get better in Anaheim. That is so good, and thank you so much for telling us.
So here we are in downtown Sacramento. Actually, looks pretty clean, surprisingly.
I'm so glad that the city, that this alleys that this walking area is clean. And I'm wondering, when you were kids, what did you do in Sacramento?
Well, back when I was obviously a kid, in school, I'd come down for field trips. And then obviously when I was in the late 1990s, when my sister Lisa lived in Sacramento, I'd spend 2-3 weeks with her. And that's how I really got well familiar with the Sacramento region, which is why I know the city so well.
Do you have a favorite part to show people or first-time visitors?
I would definitely say the Capitol area, because it has a really nice big garden. One of the largest gardens for any state capital in the United States can be found here.
Hello, music and theme park guide. It's so good to see you. How are you doing and what's up? I never knew that this had the largest garden in the country.
For a state capital, yes, it's absolutely massive.
And I wonder what kind of style of architecture is the Capitol?
Well, it's actually pretty similar to that of what you would see in Washington.
Just like in Washington, it does have a Greek Renaissance art style and
Yes,
architectural appearance.
It has a dome in the middle.
Oh yeah, same with Denver's Capitol, which also has a dome and uses the Greek revival style to symbolize order and harmony. And when Denver was building up the Capitol in Courthouse Plaza, one moment. So when Disney was building the Capitol Plaza, they were actually inspired by the 1904 Chicago World's Fair, especially since the Chicago's World's Fair actually heavily utilized inspiration from the Greek Pantheon Temple, and it was called the White Palace.
That's one of the tracks for the light rail, and here's the other one. So we got 2 different tracks here. for the 2 different light rails that serve Sacramento.
Sweet. I'm not sure why, but lately I've developed a pretty severe stutter. Not sure what it is, but over the last month, I have been stuttering a lot. And there's been times that I literally trip over the same 5 words 5 times over. Not sure where that comes from, but it's there. I definitely got to make the best of it too.
Absolutely.
So
just live your life and all the best you can.
Even if I must repeat the same sentence 5 times, or stutter over all my words.
Right.
And sometimes, which I understand, it's very hard for people to understand me. And sometimes I just get straight out rejected because of that, which I'm okay with. Sometimes when it comes to my stuttering, I just get rejected since people be like, we can't understand you, sorry, goodbye. But fortunately, even when I get rejected, I now know what people I want in my life versus who I don't want in my life. Hello, Gutty. It's a small world after all. So we got Gutty dropping on in from the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Woo, heck yeah. Thank you so much, music and theme park world. Be sure to smash the thumbs up button, especially if you enjoy what you see today and you enjoy historical tours and adventures and the Hollywood Tower Hotel, of course.
There's the front garden leading to the state capitol, so we're going to make a right turn after we cross the road.
Looks like I hear some commotion. Looks like I hear some commotion down there.
Oh, it's mostly the dogs.
Yep.
Which is why we're going to go this way.
Good idea.
Every city has their issues, and all we can do is just stay clear from that.
Yep, and choose the best path possible.
Yep. I'm sure Denver has this problem. New York City has this problem. And there goes the light rail, by the way.
And this is the Sacramento monorail.
Yeah, you're going to see the back of it.
That was coming down this way. But here we go. Let's buggy. Thank you so much, music and theme park world. That means a lot to hear. I realized that because of how my apraxia and my speech work, I often mush together a lot of my syllables, and I sound like Charlie Brown's parents. So I'm like, what? And sometimes I'm told that I sound like a mixture of Elmo and a golden retriever being too happy. So you know what really made me laugh is somebody said, Tony, you sound like Clifford the Big Red Elmo. And I was like, what? I thought Clifford was a big red dog, not a big red Elmo. Thank you so much, Gizmo. That means a lot to hear.
Alright, we got one more street to cross and then we will be on to the Capitol grounds.
Lovely. I can't wait to see this. This is my very first time seeing the Capitol grounds.
Yep, and it's open to the public. Obviously, they do have tours for inside the Capitol. They actually have a museum as well. One of the few capitals that actually does that.
I never knew that there was an actual museum in the Capitol, just like in DC.
Yep.
I hear another choo-choo train, and here it is, the Capitol of the state.
The Capitol is on the other side of this building.
So far yet so close.
This, I believe, is the State Department of Treasury.
I count how busy the Treasury is.
Busy.
Whoa.
Maybe not as busy as the U.S. Department of Treasury, but it's busy because it is a very big state.
Can I tell you what makes me laugh the hardest? Is when I'm walking by with my gimbal and my phone, even if I'm just recording a video, some people just come up and blast their music in their speakers.
Yeah.
that I find really silly. I'm not sure why, but I just find that the silliest. And thank you so much, Cruise and Theme Park Guide. Woo! 40 more to 500 or bust, that's right. Thank you so much, Sierra.
State Capitol should be right on the other side of these trees.
Alright, let me do something to the gimbal. Whoop, much better. And let me zoom on in so we can see the details. The number 30 going to the moon and back.
Oh, they changed the name. It used to be called Regional Transit. It still is, Sacramento Regional Transit.
I wonder what the new station's name is.
There's a lot of them.
Oh look, we got ourselves an old school Starbucks.
Yep.
And there are some districts that require stores to have certain branding and color palettes.
And there's the Capitol. You can see the dome.
Whoa, gorgeous. Do you know that there's a county in New Mexico that requires Taco Bell and McDonald's to have blue logos just to fit into the Emerald rocks, just to fit into the Emerald rocks, and they're also required to have a really brown and gray, a really brown and tan color palette just to match the natural surroundings. Alright, see you around Music Museum Park Road. It was so good to see you. I hope you have an amazing day. And that's right, James, I like to have a really good music choice. Even if you're trying to get my stream shut down for copyright. That's the most common reason why people will be blasting their speakers open until the speakers go kaput. That sounds so good, Gizmo. I'll take some butter with my popcorn, please.
And then, yeah, you can see the guardrails. It keeps the cars from trying to, store in the building. And they have this in Washington, D.C. too.
Yep, it keeps, yeah, and in case there's like a car accident, it does not crash into the building either.
Right. So we'll get a really good view of the front of the Capitol from over here.
Alright, so here we go. Let's go to the front side of the Capitol and away from the dark side of the moon.
Right. And then, as you can see, this is some of the guarding grounds. They actually have identification on the types of trees here by looking at the silver plates on there.
Isn't this a really rare type of spruce that's only native to California?
It is. You only find that in California, and you might find a little of that in southern Oregon too.
Yeah, what tree is it?
Let's go take a closer look.
I am curious too.
The name is right here on this silver plate.
Alright, let's take. Then sometimes you do. Sometimes
this is called a deodar cedar.
A deodar cider.
And it's native to China.
Whoa.
And it's here, but you will only find it in California.
I wonder how a tree from China got to California.
It could have been gifted or something like that.
That's so sweet. And let's see what about this other tree.
Yeah, this is another one.
Whoa, this is definitely a huge tapestry.
Yeah.
And you can actually smell the pine trees radiating off the tree.
And here you
Whoa,
go.
that's a beauty. Thank you so much, Gizmo. Thank you so much, Gizmo, for giving us the goodies and the popcorn. Thank you so much, Gizmo, for all the butter. We'll be swimming in butter right now. And let's get a really good view of the Capitol. And let's get a nice central view of it. This is my very first time seeing a Capitol with a dome outside of DC and Denver, Colorado. And let's back up this bus. Whoa, this is gorgeous. This is a beauty that we're talking about here. And thank you, Gutty. I'm very glad to be able to show you this Capitol. Oh my gosh, sorry about the gimbal ride, everybody. Now here we go. A nice, beautiful Capitol of California. And sometimes you gotta shine a light on certain things, especially if you're curious about a tree. And of all things, I have never been to the redwood forest before, which is a dream of mine. And my biggest dream right now is if we had a few days, we would be going down to the Redwood National Park and seeing some trees that are so massive that an entire car could drive through them. And plus, there's some trees from this side of the sidewalk all the way to this other side of the sidewalk that have been growing for like over 100 years. So this is what the Capitol looks like and its surroundings. Thank you everybody for your patience as we navigate this brand new city. Oh, they're definitely massive. And here's Keith walking up to the Capitol just for some perspective. Hello, Sylvia, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you caught the party too. I'm backing up the bus. This way you can see just the scale of the Capitol compared to my friend Keith, who is wearing a teal blue hoodie and blue jeans. How are you doing, Sylvia? Thank you so much for being here. And sometimes, yes, I realize I sound a little cheesy, but no, I'm actually made of cheddar cheese and butter, so yes, I'm a little cheesy too. And plus, I'm also allegedly an alien from Area 51. Yep, I'm definitely a very, very cheesy person. And imagine if I was actually made out of cheese. Look at this. A big, beautiful Greek-inspired capital. And you see that triangle right there? It's actually called a pediment. Plus below the pediment, I forgot the name of it, but they're probably like not ingrained columns, because to the left of the pediment, from the triangle, is engaged columns, meaning that the columns are within the wall. Plus in front of us, I forgot the name of it, but definitely not temperamental. Yeah, it's like something to do with temple and the beats. And also right there, let me zoom on in to the pediment. Is actually I believe engaged is Roman. Actually, wait, these are called Roman columns. Correct me if I'm wrong, historians. These Roman columns, I believe they're called temperal or progressive columns due to how there's two columns, then there's four columns, then there's two columns really close to each other. It's been years since I've taken any art history, but this is the best art history analysis I can give this building. Matter of fact, do you know that Greek sculptures were not granite or white, but rather painted with bright, vibrant colors? That's what historians have found over the last 20 years, is pigments of paints that indicate that the sculptures once were filled with color. Unlike our previous conceptions, that the sculptures were just white and plain. But if this capital was actually constructed based off Greek sculptures, it would be very bright and festive colors, just like the Parthenon was. And I know I can be a little annoying mixing the Parthenon in Rome, the Parthenon Cathedral, and the Pantheon in Greece.
This capital was established in 1850 and it became the home of the legislature in 1854. So this has been around for a long time.
Rome, and I think this has been around since Denver was built as a city. Hello, Wilson in the world. It's so good to see you.
And then we got a map of the Capitol grounds here. You can see how expansive it is. Now this is just the front, but then you can see the back. This is why it is one of the largest gardens in the United States on a Capitol ground site.
I wonder what's in the back garden.
Mostly just more trees. You've got some memorials. You've got some ponds. And then you got the first state office building right over there. And then we have the state library and the state court right over here.
Sweet. Is the gardens open to the public in the back?
Yes, it is.
All right, let's go to the back. I'm curious.
Yep. It is all completely open to the public.
Sweet. Let's go backtracking. Let's go backtracking in the back.
As we do. I believe the state senate is right there, and the state house is right there. Now we go around these guys.
Whoop! Detour time. Choo choo. You know what's kind of ironic is I'm seeing people doing blogging, and we're also doing vlogging too.
Yep, absolutely.
We got a double whammy going.
And obviously, with the presidential election in 2028, the governor of California, who's obviously worked here, is one of the front runners on the Democratic side that potentially could run for president in 2028, which is the reason why this is such a big deal.
And Sylvia says that our capital has been under renovation for a few years. I kind of wonder what renovations they're doing on Capitol so far.
They're most likely just trying to maintain it and obviously redo. And a building that's over 160 years old, you want to keep it nice and shiny and keep it looking good. So that's why you actually see all the renovations going on.
And definitely a lot of renovations. Let's zoom on out so that you can see the full scale and magnitude of what I'm seeing too. Unfortunately, a gimbal does not fully capture what we are seeing eye to eye.
It's getting larger.
Well, I wonder what else they're building on the expansion, if they must keep it to the historical facade. And yep, and they're also adding a glass room too.
Yeah, that could be something that maybe the state legislature actually had maybe wanted.
What I find really interesting with this renovation is the fact that they literally have permission to change the backside of the historical building to something really modern, because in Denver, Colorado, it's actually illegal to change the style of a historical building. Even if you must renovate the entire exterior, you must keep with the original facade and the original color parts, unlike what we're seeing here with the glass panels.
It looks like the garden is pretty much closed off, but we can obviously see more.
Alrighty, let's see if we can get across the street and we enter into the gardens. Alright, looks like it's been closed off. And the closed itself yet. This has been going on for quite some time. Alright, perfect time. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Across the gardens. Boop.
Probably won't be able to see the inside part, but that's alright.
It's okay.
We'll probably see some other important buildings here.
Hopefully.
Here's the side version of the Capitol building.
Alright, do you mind holding this? I do have to plug in the gimbal. And good thing we do have our battery today. I saw that. I saw the red thing. I saw the red ring of doom coming on the gimbal. This gimbal does need some loving. I realized that was the one thing I forgot to charge last night was the gimbal. So the gimbal be like, wah wah wah, charge me Tony, charge me please and thank you.
You might as well have it face the Capitol while you plug it in.
Thank you everybody for your continued patience as we navigate batteries and battery life. Come on, charge. Yes, finally you're charging. And finally something is going right today. Just kidding. A lot's gone right. What can stop us now? Nothing. Sylvia.
United Olive Indian Community. Okay, that's quite the project here.
It is. I wonder what they're adding to the Capitol.
That was a good question. Where's the seal of the state senate right there? What it looks like. And then you've got the state house right next to it.
I did not realize that the Capitol was so close to Old Town.
Yeah, it literally is.
Oops, come on, zoom out. Much better. I do apologize to anybody watching on the big screen due to the fish islands, but this is how we can capture. This is how we can capture the entire scene.
Here's the Department of Transportation. So, like the U.S. version, this is the state version. So the state Department of Transportation.
All right, this is what the facade looks like. It does remind me of the old school golden archway in Hollywood studios. And Gizmo has a question. Gizmo has a question for you. Gizmo's asking, what is your favorite places you've been in the world so far?
My favorite place has been Norway, as well as Walt Disney World.
Sweet.
You know I'm a big Disney World. Norway is my favorite, along with Bermuda, outside of Disney World.
What do you enjoy about Bermuda?
What I like about Bermuda is just the natural scenery of the island, the crystal caves, the big sandy beaches, but it's obviously the people of Bermuda that make it really special.
Oh.
Norway, it's all about the incredible landscape and scenery.
That is so amazing. And also I know, Wilson, I feel your pain too. Sylvia says, I was referring to the Capitol in Topeka, Kansas. I've never been to Topeka, Kansas, but it's definitely a place I gotta check out now. And Gutty says, that's an interesting mint green for the entrance of the DOT, the Department of Transportation. I have never seen a turquoise entrance before. Mostly I've seen white, gray, and black. And in Denver, the DOT's entrance is a granite arch, if I can recall correctly. This is what the Capitol construction looks like so far.
Yep. Really interesting to see what it looks like. It's all completed.
Hopefully it's going to be really beautiful and well made. It is brand spanking new.
Department of Food and Agriculture.
Here's the food department.
Oh, yeah. Surrounding the Capitol, you have all these, other buildings like you see in Washington D.C. Surrounding the White House. This is like the state version.
Let me get them.
The good news is it looks like part of the
Sweet.
garden is open.
Now we can go on
We
in.
can go and do some exploring once we get to this next crosswalk.
Right. Whoop. I also realized that I might be zigzagging a little bit more than usual. It's just to avoid pedestrians and from running into anybody. Here is the Thaler residence, from what I can tell, all office buildings. Definitely a historical place. And here is the Park Place Studios, which actually seems to be a senior studio area and is available office space too.
So yeah, you can see this is still all from the Capitol Gardens. It goes
Whoa.
all the way down there. Which is what makes this one of the, which makes it the largest.
Well, that's the whole point.
good news is we can go. There's no traffic.
Alright, here we go. Boop boop. Perfect timing. And sometimes when the lights turn in our favor, it's a really good omen.
So here's another tree that's very common here in California. It is called the American sweet gum.
Let's shine some light on the situation. The American sweet gum, liquefied Sacramento. And I'm curious, does any of these trees produce syrup?
No. Not the more. The only ones that produce syrup are your maples, which I do not think are even here.
Now, what about these really tall palm trees?
That right there is it looks like what is known as a California fan palm, but we'll double check when we see one of the, right here. Yep, California fan palm.
Whoa.
They're native to California, Arizona, and Mexico.
I didn't know that fan palms grew here. I thought that they only grew in Mexico.
Yeah. And palm trees are actually part of the grass family, so it is actually a grass,
well,
not an official tree, but
grass.
it has the shape of a tree, and it is one of the tallest. This one has to be a little over 90 feet high.
And I'm curious for the palm trees. I am curious, but for the palm trees, do they produce coconuts?
Yes, they do. You've got the Malayan dwarf coconut palm and the Malayan coconut palm that are native to the Caribbean. Parts of the tropics, so the Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore. You will find all kinds of those, but you will find them in South Florida, and they do produce large coconuts.
And James says that the scenery in Alaska does not shine a light to
dedicated to Caltrans highway workers who have laid down their lives to build, maintain, and operate California's world-class transportation system. Yes.
May they rest in peace. And also, I didn't know that Alaska produced boat syrup. And also, and thank you Gizmo. Also, Keith, I'm curious. Yeah, and also James does say that Alaska does not hold any light to Norway.
Nope. It did not. This looks like a redwood.
Whoa.
Is this a redwood?
I've never seen a redwood in person.
That is a cedar. A very tall and old cedar.
Isn't it illegal to chop down cedars?
Yes, it is. In the state of California, you cannot do that.
And that's why there's no more cedar chests.
Right. So it's really cool to see all these amazing different trees, and all and identified. This is what makes it part of the Capitol grounds. Obviously, you can see the back side of what is going to be a new addition to the Capitol. Be curious to see what that's going to be.
And what I find really wild about being out here.
Here we have the chestnut oak. This is another common tree that's found throughout a lot of the United States, but they're really well known here in the South.
Yeah, for the chestnut oak, is it exclusive to California?
It is not. You can actually find them in other states. This one is definitely over 100 feet high.
Wow.
And probably over 100 years old. So. And then over here we got the bald cypress.
I wonder where you can find the bald cypress.
Well, California and Oregon are pretty much going to be the places to find them, but you might find them in other countries as well. But they're native to the U.S. So it's just really cool seeing all these different plants.
Welcome back, Matthew. It's so good to see you.
And we got some more monuments.
And oranges.
Yep.
I kind of wish there was a way to take an orange.
Yeah, we can't really do that.
Oh, it's too high up. I've actually never seen an orange tree produce fruit before.
Yep.
And what's really wild is that California...
Oh, here we go. There's a tag right over here to tell you what kind of orange it is.
What's really wild is that California is known for the orange and wine orchids.
So this is a Seville orange.
It's
definitely in bloom.
And what I find wild is that Disneyland was actually built on an orange orchid before. And James says, well, what I meant is that Alaska is prettier than Norway. I've actually never seen an orange before. And also, I'm curious, James, what soap does Alaska produce again? For some reason, I thought that California could produce, especially NorCal, could produce soap just like Canada. Whoa. You can smell the citrus from down here. And here's Keith right here taking photos of the tree. just for perspective, and you can see just how massive the tree is compared to Keith.
Yes, very large trees, and then these look very familiar right here.
Now, what did they look?
These are redwoods.
Oh, I have never seen a redwood before. Oh my gosh.
They definitely have the look, structure of a redwood.
It does smell wonderful being surrounded by citrus. And what really makes the citrus special is that Walt Disney actually built Disneyland on a citrus grove. So technically what used to be citrus is now Disneyland.
And this is indeed a redwood.
1921, almost 100 years ago. And it is a very protected species. Yeah, we might get overheat warning soon, but here it is. Aww. May the boy rest in peace. But this is what a redwood does look like. Whoa. Let me zoom up a little bit. This is actually my first time seeing the garden. Oop. Alright, let me do it. I'm just amazed by how expansive these Capitol grounds are.
This tree is close to 200 feet, and you can explain why these are the world's tallest trees, redwoods and sequoias.
Whoa.
The tallest trees on the planet. And we got a bigger one that's right on the other side of it.
I'm curious, have you ever been to the redwood forest?
I have not, but I would love to go.
Same minute, when I get time, I would love to go too.
You know, these redwoods can get so big, they can actually be, the trunks can get so wide, you could literally carve a hole through them and have a road put in, and the tree would still be fine.
Wild.
That's how wide these things get.
I wonder how big these trees are going to get within the next 100 years.
Well, they could top 300 feet. And they can live up to 500-600 years of age, so they're going to outlive us by 5 or 6 or even 10 times. And this one is definitely taller. This one's probably closer to 220, 230.
Well, let me shine some light on the taller tree.
Yeah. So this is a very, very tall redwood.
Whoa, that's massive. It's really wild to think that the first redwood that we saw was planted in 1921. And James says Alaska produces oil and salmon.
Just absolutely incredible.
It is. It really is incredible.
I wonder if it says anything about how old these are. This is known as a coast redwood. These are the same redwoods you'll find in Sequoia National Park. They are native to Oregon and the California Coast Range. And it is a sequoia. So it's a type of sequoia. This is definitely the world's tallest species of tree.
It does have a really fuzzy and fluffy texture.
Yes, it does.
It reminds me of a Miller Moth's ring. And it does not have a distinct smell, but if you smell it up close, it does have a really earthy smell to it. Yeah. And do you know that sometimes with redwoods, that there's entire ecosystems in the tops of the trees, and for people who've climbed to the top of redwoods, they've actually found worms that have never touched the ground and entire biospheres in there.
As wide as this trunk is, it's nowhere near even finished. This trunk could easily double or triple in its width by the time it reaches its full size.
Yep, I wonder if the trunk could get from here to the dirt circle.
Easily.
Wow.
Some of the trunks of some of these redwoods in Redwood National Park are as wide as 18 feet.
Whoa.
And that's why you see some some postcards of like a road literally in the middle of a redwood tree, and it's perfectly fine. That is how wide these things get.
That is nuts. And Cece says California is awesome. Thank you so much. It's more than an honor to be able to show off California and to be able to show off what I'm able to see in real time.
World's tallest tree. That is so awesome. This is again what makes this the largest garden grounds of any state capital in the United States, and you can see why. We've got a long way to go.
We do. We have a mighty long way to go. I'm going to go around this direction.
This one is in bloom. Look at this white flower right here.
I'm curious, what is that tree?
Right here. Look at the big white flower.
Wow.
Let's
I wonder if it's a magnolia.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Let's see if we can find a name of this tree. It's really, really cool.
I wonder if it's like a magnolia tree. Alright, I will see you around, Matthew, and thank you so much for being here. This tree is actually very common in New Orleans, and there was a book, I cannot remember the plot line, but there was a book called Where the Magnolia Grows.
It is a magnolia tree.
Wow. And that's
Southern magnolia. This is definitely found in New Orleans.
And that's what I think of of nuance and magnolias, sometimes when I'm driving through the French Quarter, there are streets upon streets of magnolias in bloom. And yes, Sophia, I can definitely draw these 3 trees when I get home. That's another reason why I'm recording everything, is so I can keep an active thought process, and can actually keep a record of what I've seen. Alright, sounds good, Matthew. Thank you for sticking around.
Absolutely incredible. Even from this far away,
Well,
you can still see how big the redwoods are.
And even if you look at the posting on the bench in comparison to the redwoods, that's how massive they are. It feels like they're 20 feet away, but in reality, it's more like 100 feet away from where I'm standing.
150 feet away from the redwood, and it's still massive.
It is. It feels like I'm standing at the trunk. So make sure. So this is a little bit of perspective, and if you look very carefully, you can see a light post, just to give you the full perspective of how massive the redwood is.
Yeah, that light post is probably a good 16 feet tall. I'm 6'2". That light post is about 9-10 feet taller than I am.
All right, that makes a lot of sense,
Gives
Matthew.
you an idea. So you're looking at a 200-foot tall tree there.
Whoa. And I totally understand when you do need to take a break. And I definitely understand when you do need to take a break. But going back to the tree, I kind of wonder if there's any other tree species that is taller than a redwood.
Nope. The redwoods and sequoias are the world's tallest. You will not find another species taller than that.
I actually thought there was a palm tree that was like 400 feet tall in the mountain region of Colombia.
Not even close.
The palm tree only gets to 300 feet, I just realized.
And then here we've got the incense cedar. We've actually seen a lot of these in cedar. This is very common here.
Isn't the cedar the tree that has a bunch of branches that just grow out randomly?
Yes, that's why you see it like that. And they also like to bend.
All right, let me show you. Let me zoom up.
If you were to come over here and then basically zoom up, you can see why it's random.
Alrighty, it's definitely a really random tree.
Yeah.
And
makes great for climbing if you like to go tree climbing.
Yep, I remember you saying earlier that that even though these trees are very bendy and unpredictable, they actually can be really stable.
Yeah, these are very strong trees. They're very wind resistant. They're very snow resistant.
And this is what the one feels like. It's a little hard to feel, but if you take close up, they do feel really soft, like your average outdoor bush.
Yeah. And you can see they've cut off a lot of trunks. So they cut off a lot of branches. So there used to be one here, one here, one here, one here. So you can see how many branches it can grow. And each tree is different.
I also wonder, do they produce the world's largest pine cones?
This one does not. There is a type of pine tree that does. I forgot which one it was. I believe it's the sugar pine. It can produce a pine cone nearly almost 1 meter long.
Is it like the size of your head?
Way bigger than my head.
Whoa.
You know, the gray pine, which is another common pine in California, can produce pine cones basically the size of a basketball.
Wow.
But the sugar pine can produce pine cones literally up to your lower waist, and they tend to be very skinny but very long.
I wonder where we can see a sugar pine today.
Let's see if we can find one, because I know they can grow in California.
And it seems like this garden has every tree from California.
Some statues here, so
Yeah,
take a look. See how far down the garden is going. Go all the way down there. And there's the state capitol way over there. Gives you an idea of the scale.
That is so massive. And in front of us, we do have a public service memorial. Alright, we're going to see what this memorial represents.
Firefighters Memorial. Obviously, this means a lot because California is known for large wildfires, and it's all because of these guys, how they were able to contain them from obviously destroying more than they've already had.
And may everybody rest in peace. The wildfires are very, very tragic.
Yeah, and then over here you get a memorial of all the names of other firefighters that have been killed over the years, including from the infamous Cedar Fire, the Camp Fire, that have killed so many people over in Southern California. The Camp Fire, obviously in Northern California, killed over 20 firefighters because it spread so fast, so far out of control.
Yeah, this is what the memorial does look like from the outside.
And then you got the wall right here.
I'll do a walk around.
got the list of names on the wall, the centerpiece here, and there's a lot. Several hundred, if not maybe even a few thousand.
Very, very tragic.
Yep.
And it's like and I realize that it's like a really heavy subject.
It is. In the state of California, it's a big deal. Fortunately, we haven't had many major fires in the last year. Thank God for that, but we know there'll be more in the future.
Yeah, that's what's scary is there's definitely gonna be more in the future. And
here is a Canary Island date palm. These are native to the Canary Islands, but they are found everywhere, even in Florida.
I wonder how a canary palm got to Florida.
Well, most likely they were brought here, and they can basically grow in any climate, but they do prefer dry climates, which is why you see so many on the West Coast. You've got 2 more over here, and you got 3 more over there. But you will find them in Florida. They can tolerate even high amounts of rain, which is what makes them a really good palm to have in a garden display or even in your own backyard.
Wow.
Oh, and there goes Southwest Airlines. It just took off from the airport.
Yep, I just saw some Southwest Airlines. Matthew says that he's been to California 5 times since 2007, 2023, 2024, 2025, and also Matthew, where do you hope to visit in California in August?
Probably Disneyland.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Everybody be reading each other's minds.
Let's see what this big tree is here, because it's got a really big trunk here. We've got a plate here, so this will tell us what kind of tree this is.
You know what's really wild is that in Colombia and South America, squirrels are only found in the zoo.
Yeah. So here we have a camphor tree.
Hello, Christy.
And it's native to China and Japan.
Well, how did a camphor tree get to the States?
This was most likely gifted by the Japanese sometime after World War II.
Hello, Christy. It's good to see you.
Oh, we got a baby squirrel here.
Aww.
Baby right here. Oh, he's just fun.
That was fast.
Having fun.
They are. They remind me of Chippendale. I wonder if this tree does grow any fruits.
This tree, I don't think so.
It's a really massive shade tree. It's so good to see you, Christy. How are you holding up? In front of us, we do have another memorial.
And over here, we got another pine. This might actually be a great pine.
And over here, we do got ourselves another pine tree that might be another redwood, but it's kind of hard to tell due to how similar some tree species are.
Take a look at some of these pines.
Alright, let's see what's going on over there. Let's follow the Keith.
So let's see what this one is right here. We got a squirrel that's taking a nap or
Aww.
maybe pretending to hide.
I'm going to see if I can get a little closer, but not too close. Yep. Squirrel oranges. And here's another orange orchid that squirrels do love. I did not realize that squirrels would eat oranges. Here's a close-up of a California orange, and see this how orange and ripe it is. Definitely very fertile and fresh fruit. I wish there was a way to get ourselves some fresh oranges from these trees, but out of respect for nature and the trees itself, we will not be picking any fruit or taking any food off the gardens.
So what this is, it's known as a Canary Island
A Canary Island pine. Let's zoom on in.
They're tall. I mean, they look very similar to the great pine, which is native to California. These are native to Spain.
Wow.
Just like the Canary Island date palms are also native from the same country as this pine tree is.
This pine tree does remind me of chocolate.
Yes, it definitely does.
And let
very scaly.
me scroll upward so you can see the top of it. This is like 200 feet, which is around the height of the Hollywood Tower Hotel in Disney World. And also thank you, Matthew, for dropping Chrissy PhD's Disney link. She does go live from Disneyland, and she does show us what Disneyland looks like basically every week. I'm glad to hear, Christy. I'm sending you a lot of good energy and good vibes too.
Well, we got another pine over here. This looks like the type of spruce. Let's take a look.
I've not seen spruce before. Spruce close up.
Where it's native from.
I think that across the way is the Botanic Gardens.
Yeah, and then we have some cactus plants here, so we will have some desert plants to look at.
I wonder how the desert plants withstand all this rain and humidness.
Well, it depends. Obviously, if it's a cactus. So yeah, we have a spruce here. It's known as an Engerman spruce. It is native to British Columbia and North America. You will find a lot of these, obviously, in Alaska.
Whoa.
And you'll find a lot of these in Oregon and Washington State.
It has like a pretty soft but prickly branch. it is something that you would not want to use for stuffing.
Nope.
But it does not have much of a pine smell. Hello, now it's so good to see you. How are you doing? And I'm happy to be showcasing what I see in front of my eyes too.
And once again, we have more redwoods here. Here's another redwood right here to our right.
Whoa.
And you can see its big root bulb sticking out of the ground.
Yeah, I wonder why some trees produce root balls.
Well, I think they all do. This one just somehow seems to be pushing upward. So let's go take a look at some of these desert plants.
Yep.
I've not seen this before.
I've not seen this. I've not seen a garden. I've not seen a desert pavilion yet outside of the Denver Botanic Garden.
Oh, I think I see an Oregon pipe cactus.
What's an Oregon pipe cactus?
This right here.
Wow.
They call it an Oregon pipe. It's native in southern Arizona, but its stems look like the shapes of an Oregon. So we got one right here. This is definitely an Oregon pipe cactus. You will only find this in southern Arizona. It's amazing that this is even here.
How can it withstand really humid temperatures?
It can't. It usually likes extremely dry conditions. It does not like wet conditions, and obviously Northern California, you can get those.
And also, thank you so much, Matthew, for sharing Not So Scary Mary's TV. She does post Disney content, and she does go live occasionally. Lots of really insightful cruising content too. If you wish to see more than the Hollywood Tower Hotel. I just love. Alright, let me see if I can blast the brightness since it's a little dark right here. Whoops, wrong button. Thank you for your patience. I'm just trying to see if we can see all the details of these cactuses. Oh no, that's a little too bright. Now we're talking. Close. Hello, Amusement Park Pirates. It's so good to see you right now. We're in the Sacramento Capitol Gardens looking at the cactus display. Just earlier, we were looking at the forestry tapestry area, and we did run into some memorials. Which we always make sure we pay our respects to. And I do realize that the memorials are very heavy subjects. Are very heavy and very, very sad subjects. But right now, we are looking at the cacti, and in the distance is our friend Keith taking photos of the cactus, just so you can all have some perspective of how massive these plants are. I realize it's kind of hard to see how big the cactus is on screen, unless you have a person standing there to give us some perspective.
I think these cactus are impressive. Just wait till we see the giant saguaros down in Arizona.
When are we going to Arizona?
In October.
Sweet.
Basically, a saguaro cactus. It's native to Arizona, if you know where it is. But if you were to kind of use something here in comparison to the same height as a saguaro, this tree right here would be a good idea as to how much.
Alright, may you please point out the tree again? I missed it.
This tree right here.
Alright.
This is probably a good 45-50 feet tall.
Whoa.
This is the average height of what a saguaro gets up to.
That is so wild.
It takes 150 to 200 years to get to that.
And it takes 10 years for the saguaro cactus to grow the size of your thumb.
Yeah, this is called a pinon pine. And yeah, this would be very similar in height to what a saguaro cactus can get up to. They can also weigh up to 30 tons.
Well, and it can be really dangerous, especially if they fall over on the hood of your car.
It could basically crush your car, and you would not want to be under a pinon palm.
And your power lines too. That's what makes droughts very dangerous and high temperatures, because the saguaro cactuses do fall down, as we saw in 2023 during the droughts in the deserts. That's so neat. Gizmo, do you have any photos of the saguaro cactuses?
These big prickly pears.
I wonder if prickly pears do produce fruit for wild
They
cats.
actually do. And you can even have prickly pear juice by simply taking the juice that's squeezed inside the pads here. So they actually do make prickly pear juice, and these do produce fruits.
And for prickly pears, I do know that a certain type of desert cat, maybe a bobcat, does climb up the prickly pear and eat all of its fruits.
Yep. In fact, this one's already getting ready to bloom, as you can see right here. These are going to eventually become flowers, and they will eventually become fruit seeds.
Delicious. I do wish we could see these.
So this one looks like it's closer to opening up. So.
Wow. I do wish we could see these in bloom, just like in Death Valley.
Yeah. Well, these will probably be in bloom in the next couple of weeks or so.
Unfortunately, we not get to see Death Valley due to the route we took.
Look at this one. This has to be a really old cactus plant. Been around forever.
How can you tell that it's an old cactus plant?
Well, simply by looking at the width of the trunk. It usually can take 100 years to do that.
That's so wild. And let me put my hand up for scale. This is like my hand in comparison to the rift. We can't get too close, otherwise
you don't want to get pricked.
It'll be ouchy. Oh, I see a hidden Mickey balloon.
Yep.
Hidden Mickeys. And this is the Hollywood Tower Hotel, just so you can get the scale of the cactus. I will not be putting it down onto the ground since we were asked not to step into the cactus garden. But this is like the closest I can get to the scale.
Yeah, that's a beautiful cactus garden. I did not even know this was beautiful.
Now, do you recognize any other cactuses?
Well, I know the picture barrels, I know the weather types. Here is this one. I've seen this one before.
Alright, I'm just going to zoom in just so we can stay out.
A nice big tree. I can't remember exactly which one.
And
Aloe vera,
may you please, sorry, what did you say? A call ran over my ears.
Aloe vera.
Aloe vera.
It's an aloe vera plant. It's used in gels. It's also used in cream. It also can be used in drinks too.
That was really impressive. And over here, we do get something that looks like agave. I do not think it's agave, but it does remind me of agave due to its shape and bluish nature. And agave can be used for tequila and for sweet to know.
We have yet another redwood, so more redwoods.
Yep, keep the redwoods coming. And
This is a really interesting little cactus. It's got a really weird deformed shape to it.
I'm curious, if you don't mind pointing it out, how is it a deformed shape?
Well, it looks like a fan blade when it really should be more like a column. That could be one of many things. One, it's in the wrong soil conditions, or two, it's not 100% healthy. That does not mean that it's in trouble. It's just, and three, it could be genetics.
Yep,
like
genetics.
This is what it should look like.
Yep, this is a healthy cactus. This is a genetically different cactus.
Even though it's the same type of plant, it's just not as healthy.
And here's the two of them side by side. And also thank you so much, Matthew, for sharing Amusement Park Pirate 2. They do showcase Disneyland, especially at Road Drop, and they do have a podcast who they host with Matthew about Disney, hot topics and tips and tricks.
Well, coming up to the Rose Garden. And I'm not talking the one in Washington, D.C. This is a different rose garden. This is a rose garden that is actually full of roses.
What does the Rose Garden look like in DC?
Well, it's more of like an outdoor space where the president will sometimes have a big address or have even a joint conference with another leader from another country.
I wonder if it's okay for the public to go in.
Yes, it is. It is open to the public.
Good. Just wanted to make sure before we go in.
And it'll tell you what type of rose plants you have here.
The California Rose Garden.
And as you can see, we are definitely in full bloom.
It is, and we do have a bicycle player with some music, so we do got ourselves a DJ. I've never seen this many roses before. Last time I saw these amount of roses was by a garden near where my mom is, and it's so full. It was full of roses. Unfortunately, the garden ended up going kaput during a blizzard, and it's a normal garden. But we can still enjoy the roses, especially with how fresh they smell. This one does smell like honey lavender right there, and and I'm not sure what rose it is. They do not have a sign, but what I can tell you from here is it does remind me of Alice in Wonderland. Thank you, Gizmo, for the flowers. And we do have, what I can tell is either a memorial or a tribute place. I'm not quite sure, but it does look like a Donald sign. Over here is probably another government building. That's what I can tell. Well, this is the most roses I've ever seen in one spot. And if you look very carefully on the palm trees, you can see that there's a lot of diseased branches that are literally stuck on the stem. Most of these branches are there for insulation, which I learned from Keith earlier on the train. And usually in the desert, the branches go all the way down the stem just for insulation, from what I can tell.
And now we are at the back end of the Capitol Gardens. Obviously the Capitol is way off in that direction.
Alright, and just for scale, the Capitol is at least a mile that direction.
Yeah, so this is why this is the largest Capitol grounds in the United States.
I had no clue.
And now you see why.
Whoa, I'm blown away.
And so we'll head back in the direction of the Capitol. We can see the top of the dome. That's how far away it is.
It's kind of hard to see on screen, but let me see if we can point you that direction. See where my finger is?
Right about there.
Yeah, that's where the dome is, right there.
We have another memorial here. Let's take a look.
Alright, let's see what the memorial is about.
This one might be regarding with maybe one of the world wars, possibly.
It does. It says no food and drink.
Yeah, no food or drink. That's fine. So we're going to find out. That's what's really cool about visiting the Capitol grounds. There's so much history there.
Yeah, and there's a lot to see.
Of the Vietnam War. So this is regarding with the Vietnam War. We're talking a lot of history here. People that actually had served in the Vietnam War. And these are all the names, including their age. And I see a lot of young numbers. So I see a lot of teens, 20s, and 30s. So that means a lot of these people are serving very young.
Very, very tragic.
And obviously the Vietnam War claimed over 60,000 American lives. So
this is the interior of the memorial. This is what it looks like.
it's really, really cool. Yeah. And on the outside of all four of these, you have names. And a lot of them.
May everybody rest in peace. It was a very tragic time in American history, and in history in general. Very tragic.
And a very challenging time at the time.
It was a very challenging time in the world. It was a really rough moment for everyone and everywhere. I do realize that the war is a very heavy subject, which is why I will not speak very much about it. But what I can say is that it was a very tragic and trying time globally. Very, very sad. And it's very upsetting. That is what the memorial does look like from here. And over here, this is the Garden Walkway back to the Capitol.
Yeah, as we head back towards the Capitol, we obviously have more to see. We're not done yet. Obviously, we would love to see the entire thing, but part of it is closed off during renovation.
I didn't realize that at least a few miles would remain open, even during the renovation.
Yep. So we'll see if we can find some other trees we have not identified yet.
This looks like the tropics in the middle.
It looks like we got some banana plants here. What are those doing?
I've never
seen them before.
I've never seen banana plants outside of the Tower of Terror queue line. Last time I saw banana plants, they were getting haunted by a bunch of bored people in line, and people literally were picking the leaves.
Right. Oh, we do have some maple trees here.
It was really wild. Speaking of banana plants, when I was in the when I was seeing a video, I believe it was Disney Magic Mayhem stream. There was like somebody in the Tower queue line that was like picking the plants and picked an entire phone leaf off. It was definitely chaotic to watch, but that is what happened. But that is the nature of long queue lines at Disney World, especially if you've been standing there for over 85 minutes in Hollywood Studios.
Sago palm. This is a very, very old palm.
Looks like
talking close to 500 years
whoa.
old.
I was guessing 200 years.
That is because this king sago palm will only produce one palm frond per year.
Whoa, so there's like 100 palms, 500 palms.
Yes, it's very, very slow growing.
Just like the sangria cactuses.
Then over here we have the Guadalupe Island cypress.
Alright, let's see what the Guadalupe is about.
This tree right here, it is native to Mexico, so I have seen these down in the Caribbean before. It also can be found in Bermuda. But it can tolerate colder climates. Obviously this isn't really much of a cold climate, more of a temperate climate. But it seems to be doing just fine.
Sweet, and there's some bamboo over there.
Yeah, I wonder if it's the same kind of bamboo that's in China.
And I think it's used as grass.
Take a look. It looks very familiar to the bamboo we saw down at Disney World.
It does. It reminds me.
It's called it's the giant timber bamboo. It is the one from China that the panda bears feed on.
And what's really wild about bamboo is that it's considered a grass. And also,
grows really quickly too.
When I was back when I was in China, I remember holding a baby panda, and they were feeding it this exact bamboo. That's back in 2012.
Take a look at these banana plants.
Sweet.
Maybe we'll be lucky to see a bananas.
If you see any bananas, scream Mario.
Cooking banana. And these
Asia.
are native to Asia, so obviously the Philippines have these. Let's see if we can find some bananas starting to form. Let's take a look.
I have not seen bananas growing from a banana tree. Oh, look, there's baby bananas right there. Look, there's one banana.
Yep, that is your bananas. Those will eventually become your full bananas as time goes on. But yes, those are.
Wow.
That is the flower that will eventually lead to the bananas. Bananas are the seeds that these generate. Obviously, it's really good for the diet.
I wonder how many bananas these plants can produce per year.
Well, they could probably produce a lot because one stack could probably have as many as 18 or even 20 bananas.
I've never ate bananas off a tree before.
Yeah, I've seen them in the Caribbean and they'll produce multiple stacks. So maybe one plant could generate possibly over 100 bananas.
And also, Matthew said to tell you what he did for April Fools.
What's that?
So real quick is, long story short, Matthew sent me a message that said, "Hey Tony, the Tower of Terror is getting rethemed to Star Wars." I was mortified. Next thing you know, I was falling head over tails. I was in the middle of recording a video about the Tower of Terror being rethemed to Star Wars, and then he sends me another message that says, "April Fools, Tony, I got you good." And I'm like, what?
There's the China fur again.
China fur again.
Native to China, Taiwan, and Vietnam.
This is, for a second, I thought it was going to be very, very soft, but it's very prickly.
It's very bristly.
Very bristly. So here's a close-up of the China fir trunk and how the trunk feels. Yeah, definitely the China fir tree.
Definitely tall. These trees are tall.
Wow.
Obviously still a far cry from the redwoods, but still impressive nonetheless.
I wonder how long these gardens have been around for.
Well, I'd say these gardens have been around ever since the Capitol was established in 1850. So you're talking over 170 years is how long these have been here. And some of the plants here were probably over 100 years old, even 200 years old when they were transported here back when this place was first established. Hence, that's why you have trees here that are probably 300, 400, even 500 years old. And here we got more redwoods to the side, so we're not done yet.
And the garden just keeps going and going and going.
As it does. Well, now we'll head this way. We came from that direction, now we'll go this way to see this side of the garden.
I wonder what trees are growing right here.
Take a look, see if we have any names. Obviously, here's the cedars again we saw earlier.
This reminds me of the gardens I saw in Copenhagen during study abroad. And this is like basically half the size of the Copenhagen Botanic Garden.
Yeah, I mean, literally, this could be a botanical garden itself. It's so big.
And what's really wild is, even though it's a Capitol Garden, it can be easily mistaken as the Denver Botanical Garden due to its size. I think that the Denver Botanical Garden is this big too.
Right,
same with the Denver Zoo.
We have a maple here. What kind of maple is this? This is a purple maple.
I wonder if it produces syrup.
To Asia.
Asia maple.
The Crimson King. Well, I can see why. This is the crimson leaves. The new leaves are out.
Alright, let me show you a crimson leaf.
Yeah, there you go.
Crimson leaf,
Moving
close
towards
up.
the sun, they really shine. You can take a look right there.
Alright, so for a better view,
Yeah.
let me get you closer to the sun and zoomed in.
Yeah, you see those little tiny red ones. You can see that rich crimson.
Wow, that's so impressive.
Yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous. We have another statue. Let's see what this statue is.
Matthew got me so good with that tower prank.
Yeah. Well, no, they're obviously not changing Joe anytime soon.
How do you not? How does they're not changing the tower?
Well, probably because the demand is too good. They want to change anything. There's another California painted palm.
And palm.
And then here's basically what the state of California looks like. It doesn't know what it looks like, but
This is what
I'd
the
say
state.
most of us know what California shaped like.
This sculpture right here does honor the Native Americans and the First Nation.
That's really, really cool.
Now let me zoom on out so that you can see the sculpture in its entirety.
Miwok Indians.
Around the sculpture does announce the tribe names.
That looks like the black. That looks like the brown bear.
It's kind of hard to see the names, but we do see a picture of a brown bear and an acorn, and we also see a photo of a cardinal, along with
Shingle Springs out. Yep, the band of Milwaukee. I remember them. I've actually been to their powwows before.
The Lone Band, Milwaukee, the Chicken Ranch. I do not know how to pronounce his last name.
Chicken Ranch Rancheria.
And the Great Seal of Wilton Rancheria. That's what it's on the placards below.
But yeah, Shingle Springs, obviously my great-grandfather, Hickey was actually the chief of one of these tribes at the time.
I did not know that.
So it actually does have a tie to my family history. Right?
How long was he chief for?
I don't exactly know for sure, but it was for decades.
Wow.
So, decades. He obviously passed away a long time ago.
That is a really big honor.
Yeah. But it was really, really cool that he was my great-granddad.
I wonder if we will see any of the yellow California poppies.
Probably gonna have to go this way and swing around.
Looks like that. So let's see what this tree is.
Here is the Japanese pagoda.
The Japanese pagoda.
And it's funny that they call it the Japanese pagoda, even though it's native to China.
This is. Let me zoom on up to show you the pagoda. Whoop! Up we go. This is what the canopy of the pagoda does look like. Nah. All right, so here we go.
We'll go back to the front of the Capitol
All right.
one last time.
All right, sounds good.
So let's go take a look over here. You can see you could spend basically all day in these gardens. And again, there's more over there, but it's obviously closed off right now.
Yep, I can see spending an entire day reading or just sleeping in the gardens on the bench.
Yep. Here we got a red maple. This is common in Maine. So this is the maple that is used to make the maple syrup. Red maples.
Red maple for maple syrup.
And these are very common in New England. This is actually the tree that's used that makes the best maple syrup. Especially in the state of Vermont.
I do wonder how you make maple syrup.
Well, what they do is they basically tap a hole using like a peg stick, and then they put a nail in there, and then they hang the bucket, and the sap will drip out, and it takes several weeks.
Wow.
And then they basically boil it to create the maple syrup. And the crazy thing is, one full pail of sap will only be enough to make 1 cup of maple syrup. So they have to tap a lot of trees to make the maple syrup you see in store shelves. It's a good thing we have an unlimited supply of maple trees. So here is Thomas Starr King. Let's see, who is he?
This is a sculpture of Thomas Starr King.
1864. He was a defender during the Civil War. So this is another piece of American history here.
This is a garden tribute from what I can tell. I'm just really blown away by the scale and size of the entire garden.
Right? It's massive.
It is. And I didn't realize just how much history we would be running into today.
Right. And then we've got some more trees here. What is this one? This one is the flowering dogwood, right here in the middle.
Flowering dogwood. I wonder what color its blooms are.
I have no idea, but we got a tree right here that is in bloom. As you can see, all these little pink flowers here.
Oh yes, little pink flowers.
It could actually be the same kind. Maybe it is the flowering dogwood.
This actually reminds me of the crabapple trees that grow in Colorado, that during the first week of February or maybe even the first week of March, that actually grow pink, with vibrant pink flowers.
And then here we've got the English holly. You do not want to play with their leaves. They are very, very sharp.
I wonder how.
To the British Isles.
Yep. And also for the English hollies, you gotta be really careful, especially when you're outside.
Yep.
And they will.
Right here. Look how sharp these leaves are.
Yep. I remember at my elementary school, there was some English hollies growing, and we were told to be very careful. But you know what we did? We went up to them anyway, and we got ouch. Yep. Learned my lesson the hard way.
Let's see what's over here. I see another rock here. Maybe this is another display. Yep, we have another memorial here. What is this?
Yeah, I wonder what this memorial is.
The Grove of Trees,
The Grove of Trees
has saplings from southern battlefields. Oh, so these are actually from the battlefields.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I didn't realize that they were transferred from the Republic of California and Nevada. They were actually transferred to California.
May 1897.
Wow.
That's so impressive. Yeah, very expansive garden. It's obviously free to anyone if they want to come check it out.
And for those who are interested in history, I do recommend taking a very close look at the garden and seeing what you can see. Yeah, thank you so much for showing me around today.
Oh, absolutely. And here we've got the citrus sinensis. This is another type of orange.
I can definitely smell it too.
Yes, you can. It's from the Mediterranean. So obviously, if you're ever in Europe and you try orange juice, it's most likely from this type of orange. And they're everywhere. We've got a Seville orange that we saw earlier. And so yeah, you basically, and one of the nice facts with California is roughly 80% of the country's oranges are grown in this state, because surrounding Sacramento is endless miles of orchards.
Do you think we could get some fresh oranges while we are here? Not from this garden, but from the state.
Probably you'd have to go to some kind of farmer's market, because obviously you have a lot of farms and orchards here. You could probably get fresh orange juice or fresh oranges.
Delicious.
Where to find them, I don't know, but we could maybe look tomorrow.
That'd be great if we could find at least one fresh orange tomorrow. I definitely don't want to pick anything from the garden out of respect for the property.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to be doing that, because obviously this is for display only.
It is, and also I realize that if I stop picking oranges, other people might follow suit, and it would ruin the display for everybody.
Yeah, we don't want that. I mean, this is obviously for display for everyone to see.
And I wish to keep it that way, especially for everybody's present and future enjoyment, future enjoyment and not indulgement. I can't speak, but for future, yeah. But if it's for future, but just like for future exploration, I meant to say. Sometimes I do stumble on my words.
Yeah. All right, we'll head over this way, and then we'll start working our way back towards Old Sac. We'll get another view of the other side of the Capitol here.
Nice. What I meant to say is, that I wish to help keep this garden intact for people's current and future exploration, and to make sure that the gardens remain nice for as many generations as possible who choose to visit California and who reside in the state. That's correct, Gizmo. We definitely do not want to detract from anybody else's experience, which is why sometimes I might sound a little quiet, especially when I'm going around a group of people who may be here for the very first time, and I do not want to take away from their experiences. That's why sometimes I have to be very quiet too, just to be very mindful of everybody else's experience around me. Hello, Christina. Good to see you. Good evening to you too.
Looks like this redwood has seen its last legs.
Oh.
And honestly, they can live a very long time.
Yep. It may not be doing very well with the street pollution.
But it still has some greenery, so it's still fighting.
It is.
How many more years will it have?
Especially with like the sidewalk in the street. It must not be very good for its root system, which is very sad.
So we're gonna have to cross the road here, because obviously the sidewalk closed.
Yep. That's where the sidewalk ends.
So we'll obviously have to go ahead and cross.
Thank you. It was definitely one heck of a prank, Matthew. You got me so good. Yeah, when it rains, I hear that it rains at least every day.
Yes, it does. You might get one dry day for every 6 days of rain in 1 month.
Brutal.
So, but during the summertime, you could get 6 straight months without a drop.
And that's why we came during the summer.
Yeah, we got a hotel here. This is the Hyatt, so this is a very high-end hotel right here, the Hyatt Regency.
All right, let me show you the Hyatt real quick. I nearly forgot. This is the Hyatt Tower Hotel, not the Hyatt Tower Hotel. It's so good to see everybody. How is everybody holding up? And what are you all having for dinner tonight? Dinner, breakfast, or lunch?
crane up higher than, because obviously people land at the international airport. This one obviously doesn't.
It looks like the old Hollywood hotel. Oh, you too, Christina. I'm glad that I can show you a name to my face. Let me show you. This is who I am. Hey, Christina, this is who I am. Woo! And the Hollywood Hotel is one of the best things on the planet. Heck yeah, how you really woo! And now back to California. Whoop, whoop. Come on, button, don't fail me now. Button, don't fail me now.
Looks like we've got a green light. We've got 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Blast off. Woo! Boom, boom. I feel like I'm Scooby-Doo running to the mystery van.
I'm really curious to see what this is going to be when it's completed.
I'm curious too.
It's called the Capitol Annex Project. So maybe it's going to be part of the museum, or maybe it's going to be a special.
I wonder what this building is to the side, to the right of us.
Senator Hotel. This is a very old hotel building. Senator Hotel.
From like the 1950s.
Most likely from probably even earlier.
Reminds me of old school Hollywood and Hollywood Tower Hotel's gift shop area in a good way. There are so many buildings out here that remind me of old school Hollywood and the Tower Hotel from an architectural standpoint.
Here's the state capitol again, this time from the other side.
We got the ninth wonder of the road. We got the backside of the state capitol. A local credit union.
Yeah, Golden One. Obviously, that's why the basketball arena is called the Golden One Center, because obviously it's sponsored by the Golden One.
Just had to refresh real quick. Thank you for your patience.
You got the Bot Bar Coffee.
I've never seen Bot Bar Coffee before. Oops.
And the good news is we can go ahead and cross.
Alright, perfect timing. I just love seeing the perspective and the angles that these buildings do produce, especially when you're walking down a center of an empty sidewalk. It does remind me of the spacecraft from a 2001 Space Odyssey, given how the towers and the sunlight are reflecting. What time is it? Oh wow, that's late. Alright, sounds good.
Maybe show them the American River.
I would love to show everybody the American River too.
Before we then head for the Trap Cat Restaurant.
Sweet.
Here's Cafe Connections. This is Caribbean.
I wonder when they open up.
That's a good question. Maybe they're close to the wall. There's the state flag.
Alright, this is the California state flag, and what it does look like for anybody who's curious, and it's connected to a Starbucks.
Yeah, this is the Starbucks. I wonder if a lot of local politicians get their coffee here.
I wonder if there's a lot of Capitol locals who get coffee in there too.
This is right across the street. This time we're going to have to wait for the next green light.
Yep, the next green guppy. And while we wait, here is a view of the Treasury building and the 200-foot pine trees. Not pine trees, palm trees. What I find wild about today is that we went from desert to pine tree and now to palm tree.
Yeah, all in one day. Desert, mountains, snow, palms, mountains.
I didn't realize that we would see snow and pine trees in one day.
Only here on the West Coast can you do that.
And a fall archer and a fall rainbow too.
Beautiful day here in Sacramento.
It definitely is a perfect day for walking. Not too hot, not too freezing yet.
Of course, I won't go counting the steps I got to Rochester Mountain.
Dang.
Oh well, but I think I've got at least 5,000 steps.
I'm also guessing 5,000 steps too. I think we walked at least a mile.
Well, we definitely have. I mean, that park alone, just going around one time, is probably
Yeah,
just at the park alone.
it's definitely a good place to get your walking in,
Yeah.
and exercise if you need a place to walk around in the shade.
A good way to learn about some of the local trees and also non-local trees from other countries.
Yep. I didn't realize that they would import non-local trees too. And thank you, Sia. Woo! 30 more subs until we have a 13-story drop tower party. You asking you to receive Sia from Cruising Theme Park Guide? Heck yeah, party time. Woo! Heck yeah! That's what we're talking about, you all. Whenever it comes to Tower of Tower, I just can't get enough of it. And we shall celebrate with a Tower style. With Tower celebration, and we're celebrating in style allegedly. Thank you, Amazement Park Pirate. 3 more until 30 likes. Heck yeah, thank you so much. Woo! That's what we're talking about here. I just get a little excited when I see the numbers. Here it is. Yep. The gimbal can get a nice, beautiful rest in the shade instead of being a roasted little gimbal.
Yep.
Same with the battery and power pack.
Wait for the...
And speaking of which, you know what's ironic? The gimbal's at 100% power, but the phone is at 10% power. But gotta plug that thingy in. Do you mind holding the High Hotel? And this is what High Hotel looks like when it's being held. Such a cute little hotel. Aww. And now we shall plug in the phone, the infamous phone. Welcome to my life. Once something has power, the other thing goes kaput. That's my life. Next thing you know, the battery's going to need more power.
Yep, gotta get power.
Yeah, gotta get juiced. Now we're getting juiced up. Come on. Juice, thank you for your patience, and I can hold the tower again.
There's the tower.
The Tower of Medulla. I call the tower a little hedgehog. I'm not sure why, but whenever I see the tower, I think of a little hedgehog. So the little tower's name is Hedgehog. My little quills. My little medulla, baby.
Big shopping mall, 3 malls actually in this city, but probably the largest shopping mall in Sacramento is the Oregon Fair Mall. It's 2 floors, has over 250 stores.
And tomorrow, do you think we could do a search for some fresh oranges tomorrow?
Yeah, we definitely can.
Alright. Same. That's instead of playing rose water, let's play with fresh oranges. Do you mind if I live stream the fresh orange hunt tomorrow too?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Of course, I'd like to visit the Railroad Museum.
Alright, sounds good.
Oh, good.
One force one. Monkey fun! Not one force one, monkey fun. That's Richard's line. Mama Medulla. I'm actually not going to be streaming the Railroad Museum just in case you don't want any photos inside, and it'll be really hard to get signal in there too.
Yeah.
So I'll stream afterwards.
You can obviously screen some of the rail cars on the outside. Yeah, that's outside the museum.
Good idea. I just don't want to break the rules.
Yes, I don't know what the rules are. We'll find out.
Same. That's why I'm not going to be showing the Rail Museum. But if they do a lot of photos, I will showcase some photos. I do wonder if there's a lot of offices for rent. Same, yeah, and also when it comes to offices, and some towns there's a lot of retail spaces and offices open ever since a lot of people started to work on it online. Perfect time and bam, here we go. Whoop. Nothing can stop us now, quite yet. You're very welcome, Sylvia. I'm glad that I can introduce you and give you a little taste of Sacramento. I realize that nothing I do here can do Sacramento its full justice and showcase every detail. But I really appreciate everybody who is here today, and I just love documenting what I see. Yep, this is Bus City. Yep, welcome to Denver 2.0. Denver, California combined. And also that's a really good point, Sylvia. Traveling is like walking. It's like education, but on foot. I actually learn a lot more when I'm traveling or when I'm watching traveling live streams like the one I'm doing right now. Oops, sorry, my bad. The wind got me by surprise. Sweet. I actually learn a lot more by traveling. Than when I actually learn in the classroom. And I can imagine Chrissy, lots and lots of driving. The Wi-Fi might go a little wonky as we get back into Old Town, but thank you for your patience.
Back to the Future musical.
I would watch that musical too. And I actually find that I learn a lot more than I learn in the classroom when I'm watching live streams and actually walking on foot too. Yeah, wait for it. The final countdown, the last bit of anticipation before the Tower of Terror drops his 13 stories.
Here we go.
Bam, here we go. Also, hey Jamal, good to see you. And also Christy, I will definitely be watching your entire stream.
I'm gonna head back to the hotel because I gotta get the
Alrighty, I understand. Alright, sounds good. And also Christy, I will rewatch your stream since I missed a lot of it due to unpredictable mountain data. We were driving through the not Sierra Valley, but the Rocky Mountain Valley and the plateaus in Utah. I just realized that these are statues of dots. Alright, do you mind if we take a look at the upper level of the plaza if there's time?
Yeah, we can do that.
Alright, sounds good. I was in the lower level, but I'm curious about what the bridge looks like. Hopefully it does have slightly better data so that everybody can see what's going on.
Going to the airport.
Yep, some people got a very busy and big travel day ahead of them. Isn't the airport far away from the city?
It's a good 10 miles.
Same with the Denver International Airport. Here we go, boop. Medulla. GOCO. I'm curious what that stands for.
No idea.
Same here. Golden Run Center.
Yeah, home of the Sacramento Kings.
Let's go Kings. I wonder how far in the Sacramento Kings made it.
Well, they didn't make the playoffs this year, but a couple years ago they made it to the Western Conference semifinals.
Well, I wonder how far Denver's going to make it.
That's a good question. I believe they have a game tonight.
They do.
The team that I'm following, the Boston Celtics, are up 3-1 over Philadelphia. One will win, they'll advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals.
I really hope that your team does win.
I think they will. They just mantled Philadelphia.
Good.
Last night, won by nearly 50 points.
Well, I would be watching that too. And also when it comes to basketball, the only time I really pay attention is during the playoffs. Same with the Avalanches, who are literally crushing it to the playoffs. Unfortunately, I'm a little iffy. I don't know who's playing.
Philadelphia Flyers.
Alright, let's see who's playing real quick. We cannot show you very much, but we can show you a little bit from a distance. So let's see who's playing.
The Pittsburgh Penguins.
Pittsburgh Penguins looks like that. Yep, so we got a little hockey in. I can't quite see the score quite yet. The music's a little loud, so it may be a little harder to hear me. But here we go, let's go to the escalator and see what we can see up here. We got ourselves a fresh pressed juice bar, which looks so good. We might have to check it out tomorrow morning if I'm up early enough. So here's an escalator view. Oops, nearly fell down, ouchies. That would have been a very sad day for Tony. And off we go on the escalator, bam. That was the first call, but we made it.
This looks like a Japanese kind of restaurant.
Sorry, what did you say, Keith? I missed it.
Looks like a Japanese restaurant here. The Pokeichi.
That looks so good.
Pandora's Pizza. Of course, there's Central Theaters.
Same. I'm curious to see if there's any good Disney movies or anything that we should see. We definitely got Batman and we got Haunted House. Unfortunately, actually, wait a second. This is the live escape game. Oh my gosh, that got me so good. I got excited when I saw the Haunted House. But here's the Century Theater that we should walk into. Bam. Panda Express, rice and vegetables, yummy yummy in my tummy. The classic crunch, pop pop pop. I think it is playing. I would love to see Super Mario in 3D again.
I've never seen this one before.
I've seen the first one, but
This is the second one.
wow. I've only seen
Real Galaxy.
I've only seen the first one in Spanish on the airplane.
You should see that tomorrow.
We should. We should.
Take a look at the.
Yep. We should make a time for a movie tomorrow.
Definitely.
Sweet.
See that, then maybe think about renting a page after that.
That sounds like a great way to start the day. Hot dogs on a stick. Who's hungry? That does remind me of Sonic, and I do love the cars since it reminds me of Builder Bell. Wi-Fi may be a little wonky, but we shall overcome. If I can catch the elevator stay in time. Alright, downtown Common Central area. Wi-Fi might be a little in and out, so thank you so much for your patience. And right above us is a dimension beyond sound and sight. You're now entering the old town Sacramento. Dun dun dun. Alright. Don't fail us now. Wi-Fi don't fail us now. Oop. This way we go. Much better. Another thing about Sacramento that you should really know about is that because it's an older city, especially in the old town Sacramento, you have to really look down, and there could be a bunch of random little steps. The one downside about that is that it's not very ADA or wheelchair or mobility scooter friendly from what I've been experiencing, which is like the really big unfortunate part that's been kind of disappointing. That's been really disappointing. Is like all the little steps and the uneven surfaces.
I was wondering how was he getting that up a slope? It must be a motorized skateboard.
Has to be.
Because he's still rolling. He never gave a thrust.
Yep. Or he's magic.
Yeah.
All right, let's make room for the skateboarders.
He's got swing around us.
And just like that, we are in Old Town Sacramento. Wi-Fi might be a little laggy due to the fact that we are going back to the old part of town that has like the Blair AT&T signal. So thank you everybody for your patience if we do go in and out, especially the audio as we go through the Stevens Bridge.
Yep, 8th Interstate 5 and back to Old Sacramento. Back to hotels.
And now here we go. This Yep, I like that. It's like such a quiet highway, more like an underway. Old Town, just like that, we teleported back to the 1800s. Yeah, we gotta off the boat to catch. I'm actually going to go off here since the Wi-Fi is gonna be so terrible. Yeah. I'm going to sign off. All right, everybody. I want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you for joining us, my friend Keith and I. You want to be on camera? In Old Town Sacramento. Thank you so much for everything, and I've had an absolute blast over y'all today, showing you around the town with my friend Keith, and we'll see you around tomorrow to hunt down some very fresh oranges. We'll see you around, everybody. Bye bye. Woo! And be sure to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to Tony Hotel for even more Tower of Terror content and walk around towers. So see you around, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And